Mr. Truck here. I'm somewhere in Michigan with the Ford's launch of the 2018 F-150. We've got them all here and we're trying them out. Trailers, payload, beauty shots, and I'm interviewing John Thomas with the aluminum guys who work on these trucks. You know, Ford's got the aluminum bodies now, Super Duties, half tons, the whole shebang. And John, I guess this used to be called the name I knew. Now, what's your new name for your company?
Yeah, thanks. So I'm the global marketing director for Arconic, which used to be Alcoa.
Yeah.
So we're a big aluminum supplier, obviously proud to be out here with Ford, and we've been a part of the F-150 since the beginning.
Cool. So does GM's hoods come from you guys too? They got aluminum hoods on those Silverados.
Yeah, I can't talk about that.
Okay. Anyway, so John's going to tell us some of the features and why it's so important to go to aluminum. I mean, we know all about the weight savings and lack of rust, which is a big deal here in Michigan.
Sure it is.
So what else is going to make people really understand aluminum's value?
I think Todd Eckert did a really good job this morning when he discussed about aluminum's benefits. So it's not just about lightweight. It's about lightweighting the vehicle, keeping the safety as good or better than it was before. But really it's about enabling Ford to do things that they couldn't do with other materials. So because it's lightweight and strong, it allows them to get comparable towing, hauling, braking, performance, and keep those safety numbers very, very high and not sacrifice anything. So you can put more fuel-efficient powertrains in the vehicle, as you've heard the Ford guys talk about this morning. So it's really it's an enabler to allow Ford to maximize the efficiency and basically the performance of the vehicle. That's what it's all about.
Cool. What's the number of your aluminum? Is it a T80 or what's it?
Yeah, so I mean, we supply all sorts of different types of aluminum, 5,000 series, 6,000 series. These are standard grades of aluminum that we've pioneered over the years.
And this is similar aluminum grade that the military uses?
Yeah, the military does use quite a bit of 6,000 series aluminum for sure.
Well, cool. Aluminum's not new. You look at the European luxury cars, they've had it for decades. Your jets have had it for 100 years. So it's been out there a long time. So to me, it's not a big surprise. And we had the big push for fuel mileage, and that was part of it. What are you going to do? You go plastic, you can go to aluminum. Aluminum sounds better to me for a pickup truck. But anything else to add? Yeah,
I think that a lot of the talk is about the fuel economy and the CAFE regulations, right? But that's really not the whole story with aluminum and lightweighting. And you're seeing the content on these vehicles increase as the public demand becomes more and more. So we talk about all the extra things that they add, and they want to make sure that they keep the customers happy and keep me as a consumer even making sure that I get the things that I want. And again, it gets back to that aluminum being the enabler with lightweighting and strength and safety to allow Ford to do what the other things that their customers ultimately want.
Well, cool. I'm in the horse trader business too. I review a lot of horse traders, and they've been aluminum for a long time. I mean, that's a big deal. I mean, a lot of the steel frames rusted, and so some are using a combination, but it's really common, especially East Coast, to have aluminum horse trailers, and I know they look gorgeous, 20 years later. So I'm not concerned about it, but we wanted to get the skinny from the guy who knows. John, thanks.
Ken, thanks a lot.
You
Appreciate talking to you.
Got a 2.7 liter, a 5 liter, and a 3.5.
That's what ones I want.
Those the ones you want?
Yeah. Well, this 2.7 is awesome. I love this engine. Always has since it first came out. You can get you a sport truck, get you an off-roader, and tow some trailers. We're towing 7,500 pounds. And it's easy for it. And kind of fun is you can floor it and squeal the tires. But it's unbelievable. This is 400 foot-pounds of torque, same as the 5-liter Coyote. Those two engines have the same torque. That absolutely amazes me how they can get that out of a little 2.7, even though it has twin turbos. It's a powerful little rascal. So this is actually, this is something I'm really seriously thinking about, is this engine. I'm going to go between this and what all the half-ton diesels are going to be like when we find all them next year when Ford's is out. We'll have some competition in that market in the half-tons. But I do like this 2.7, I always have. And people don't believe it. If I was back selling trucks again like I was 15 years ago, I could sell these every day. All you do is get people in them, tell them to go floor it, and they'll just be tickled to death. But anyway, this is fun. Out here in Michigan, Ann Arbor. millionaires live. Like Bill Ford. My last run by Ann Arbor, Michigan. I've got the King Ranch with the Coyote engine with 5 liter. Has a new sprayed on cylinder liner. Any more details of it, I guess that means it used to have a sleeve. Now no longer has a sleeve, but it is the Mustang engine. So Ford's now doing what everybody else is doing and putting their engines in all their vehicles, which is smart. I still like, truck engines, but this 5 liter is a wonderful engine. I've always liked it. I've had it in several vehicles myself. We're only pulling 7,500 pounds right now with it. It would tow, I think, over 8,000. 400 pound-feet of torque. That is a lot of power. That's towing power. That's what you want. You want those high torque numbers for trucks you're going to tow trailers with. And plus that rumble. I love that V8 sound. That's the only thing I miss on the EcoBoost is that V8 sound. Of course, they augment it in the cab. So it still sounds decent in the cab. It's outside the cab, but it sounds like a small motor, small engine. But this one has that V8 sound, that good old American noise we make. Wish we had some bigger hills back here to climb, because I would love to have a chance to use the 10-speed and test out the grade braking on this. Because I know the 3.5 that we tested last summer or late fall, the 10-speed didn't have as good a grade braking as the 6-speeds. And so I'm going to talk to Ford about that, see if we can narrow down why and if there's a way to change that, because I do love good grade shifting. And Ford's always had that. Then a 10-speed has presented new problems, so we'll see what the answer is. Boy, there's some people that drive fast on this road. This is kind of like a back roads, paved road. People fly down, even though the speed limit's pretty low. I don't have towing mirrors on this truck, so 8.5 foot of trailer is an obstacle. Makes it a little on the tough side. So I can't exactly tell what's going on, but oh well. This has been fun driving all these, the new 4 engines, four new engines from Ford for 2018. We'll be driving the diesel probably next spring or maybe in the winter. See what that's like. Ford's got a big string of engine combinations. I don't remember them having this many engines. It actually makes 5 counting the diesel. But we've driven 4 of them today. The 5 liter, the 3.5, the 3.3, the 2.7. So actually out of that group only one was the V8. The rest of them are all V6s. And the diesel's going to be a V6. So these V8s are getting to be a thing in the past. I'm glad to see them give it more power this year. And I'm glad that they kept it. I will miss the V8s when they're gone, and I hope we have a few more years of the good old American V8s. This 5 liter is a spunky little rascal. When you accelerate, it sounds awesome. I did some trailer drifting back there. There's Florida going around the corner, and the trailer took off. That's a new sport we're going to have. It's trailer drifting. But no, I love this. This is a 10-speed dual injection. And it's it's got the new liners and the cylinders sprayed on. So how many pounds is that?
1,000.
1,000 pounds. That's all he wants to put in this truck. Okay.
Yep.
This is the 2.7 EcoBoost. Just drop it. Holy cow. Guess I didn't measure the squat, but it's quite a bit of squat. You are Jerry Farrell?
That's right.
It's your last time we talked, I think.
Yep.
We did some work together on, what is that, 2015?
15 model year.
Wow, a long time ago.
Yep.
Now we're in a 2018 F150 XLT with a 2.7.
Yep.
Now the questions I really wondering about, you know, on the of course this is an EcoBoost 2, but did the trailer towing go up on this one? I know that with the horsepower and torque went up a little.
Yeah, the trailer tow really didn't increase
Okay.
on the rest of the models.
Okay.
It was really the max trailer
So
tow.
the 3.5 EcoBoost is the one that now tow the 13,200. It was 12,200 last year, or last model year.
Yeah.
So 1,000 pounds now. So that's a different frame and different axle, or I missed some of what you were talking about this morning.
Yeah, the rear section of the frame is up gauged. The
Okay.
mid rails are up gauged.
The springs are the same amount in the spring stack, or
Shackles have been up gauged, and the bushings, slightly different bushing.
okay, the same amount of lease. Okay, because I know that when that aluminum body came out, what year was that? That was 15.
15.
Now that's they shortened the lease from the year before that. It used to be longer.
Yes.
And there was always Ford saying let's keep making it longer to make it ride better. Well, it also made it squat more. But I don't know if 2015 improved on the squat, but I thought it would. But so I was kind of surprised. So you can put a 1,000-pound bigger trailer on, which means you could have 1,320 10% tongue weight.
Mm-hmm.
So that jumped up. What is that? 100 pounds? It jumped up. So then that kind of surprised me. You didn't have to do anything to the back of this when you got 100 pounds more tongue weight. Of course, 100 pounds, that's my left leg. So what am I going to do now? I guess I can back out.
Yeah, I don't know how they want us to get out.
Well, this guy's blocking our way, so we'll see if we can bump some of these orange shirts. A lot of orange shirts here today.
Yeah, there are a lot of orange shirts, all right.
You guys should have, like the gold ones on you engineers should have a different shirt, man, so we can identify you guys.
I wouldn't have went with orange, but I wasn't asked.
Well, you like Broncos, don't you? You got something against Broncos or what?
I'm a San Diego fan.
Oh. Do they have a football team?
Chargers.
San Diego. I guess they do. Okay. We'll just run into somebody. Back up till we run out of people to hit. I'm glad you guys have four-wheelers and hay bales, all stuff that I have in my place all the time. It kind of works out. Well, here's a camera. Look at that. I watch the camera. I can back right into these guys. Nobody even miss them.
It sounds like this is just like your place.
Yeah, I do have a red barn. Mine's got the double gable, whatever they call it. It's not a total pitch like these are. Yeah, it's good grass here. I should take some of that home with me. How many bales I can get in the luggage? Came on the plane. I'll be sneezing. I didn't really want to back all the way to Michigan, or to
No, you should be able to back in here.
make them all nervous.
Get in the photo op.
Yeah. 1,000 pounds of payload. Well, cool. And so the 5 liters one had the power increase. The 5, the
They all
Coyote
had.
engine. Oh, they all had
Yeah,
power
they all
increases?
had. Well, they all had torque or power increases. Yeah.
Okay.
I guess I shouldn't say all. The 3.5 didn't. The 3.5
Yeah.
we did the power up gauge with the second generation and 17 model.
Right, and that's when the 10-speed came out in
That's
that
when the
truck.
10-speed came
I drove those last year. I really was impressed with that.
Yep.
You know, I don't know. You'd be the guy to ask. I noticed on that 10-speed that we had last year, the 17 with the 3.5 EcoBoost, that I always thought more gears, it would give you maybe better grade shifting, but it didn't. So I kept, it was actually worse. It took more brake applications coming down in the mountains than it did on the 6-speed. And I thought, well, maybe they're just not getting enough RPMs to give you that grade shifting. Like, on a 6-speed, because the gears are further apart, you might have more RPM spread, a higher RPM. And the 10-speed, because it shifts so quickly and goes through so many gears, I figured there's less RPM on it. And I think it's the RPM that you need for the grade shifting, you know, for
It
giving you
is.
that.
It
So
is.
is there something you can do to that 10-speed to
Well,
get it
did
grade?
you have it in tow haul mode?
Oh yeah, you betcha.
Okay, and you were tapping the brake to drop it down.
Right, yeah, and I know in the Super Duty now you can just tap the brake and it'll actually hold you there.
Yeah.
So there's been a lot of improvements on the Super Duty in that area, but I didn't notice it on that 150. Now, there's probably no big grades around here to take one of these on, is there? We can do it with a
No,
trailer.
there isn't, unfortunately.
But that's
'Cause
what I was.
It should work the same way. You should tap the brake, and it
Right,
should hold
right.
you.
Did you guys notice that it didn't? You had to tap the brake on more times the grade shift. That new 10-speed. Is that something you guys noticed?
I
or-
didn't notice
You didn't
that.
notice that?
No.
Well, of course we have. We're at 11,000 feet and 7% grade. It's easier for us to do that and know it right away.
I tend to use the select shift. I tend to
Manually shift it.
manually shift it
Right.
in manual mode.
That makes sense. A lot of people do that, and I would probably do that in some cases. Like on a lot of the little trucks, they really need all the help they can get. But when we're doing our tests up there, we like to let the machine do its own thing and take the human equation out of that, because otherwise you're just testing out the pilot, the driver. So we don't do that, and yeah. I can't say you guys didn't catch it, but I just figured you guys had to be one of the tests you would have done. But that's what I noticed, and I was surprised that that we had to brake it so often, because that was not how the 6-speed was. And I was so tickled waiting for the 10-speed to come out, because I know the fuel mileage increase, and it shifts so smoothly.
Yep.
All those things I wanted, but I don't know if there's something that can be done to change that grade shift on that 10-speed. You can't just crank up the RPM and do it manually. Manually, you could.
I'm surprised though. The tow haul mode should have held the gear, and even tapping it again, it should have dropped it down again.
Right, as long as there's enough RPM band that it's not going to redline, and that's it's always worked well.
Yeah.
And the 6-speed worked well.
This was your own vehicle that you got?
No, it's one of the we get press.
This was
vehicles.
a press release.
Yeah, we get press vehicles in the winter time every week, and the summer every month. So yeah, it's one of the many press vehicles we had.
Yeah, that's odd.
Yeah, it's on our videos on TFL Truck, and I had it on MrTruck.com because I thought it was odd and a surprise to me when I had to brake it more often than the 6-speed. So I was just trying to narrow that down if we did something wrong, or if there's something coming out, or if that's a firmware thing or software thing or what it is. But yeah, I understand the manual thing, and that's probably what most people would do in those kind of mountain situations.
Yeah.
It's just that we can't compare trucks if we're doing that. So
Yeah, if you're doing an A to B,
yeah, we just
You're
let
right.
it. So you coming out with paddle shifters for the rest of the 150s? That was fun on the Raptor.
Yeah, you like the paddle shifters? No,
Yeah.
I don't.
Especially this 2.7. This is a sport truck. This thing flies.
Yeah, it does.
I mean, I'm sitting here piddling around, but this thing will get up and choke you.
Yeah,
I love this engine.
yeah. This is,
And you guys are selling more of these than any of them, right? This is like number one selling engine in the 150 right now.
it's pretty balanced right now.
Oh, is it?
And we're selling more EcoBoost in total than any of the other engines.
Yeah,
Between
yeah.
the 3.5 and the 2.7. But,
Right.
It's generally runs 30, 30, 30, 2.7, 3.5,
Yeah.
5 liter, and
I
then the
remember-
balance
I
is the
remember that.
3.3.
Well, that's another thing. The 3.5 EcoBoost, went up to 13,200 on a trailer, and then the Coyote, the 5-liter, it went just up on payload. Do you know what the towing capacity is on the 5-liter? Because it's not what the EcoBoost is. Is it 1,000 below that? Is it the 12.2 or?
Off the top of my head, I don't
Okay,
know. Yeah,
well, I'll find
I'd have
that out,
to look
'cause
that out.
Because I need to know that, because I think the 5-liter, we all love the sound of the 5-liter, love the power of the EcoBoost, but I think if you had that tow rating on the 5-liter, I think you'd actually start selling more of the 5-liters. But what do I know? That's so the payload, and that's another thing that confuses me. You raise payload, well, that tells me that then I have got more tongue weight for a trailer. So I
Payload
keep-
didn't really go up as a direct application. Some of the models or the variants might have gone up a little bit.
Well, the 5-liter stands like, what, 3250 now or something?
The 5-liter might have gone up. I'm not sure.
Yeah, that's what the press release says. So that's
Okay.
kind of what I'm going off of. So,
Okay.
so
I
that's
don't
what
know. I didn't think it was more than the 3.5 though.
Well, it sounds like it had the highest payload, and to me that means that
Yeah.
it would have a higher trailer towing capacity with a higher tongue weight
Oh.
off of payload.
Not necessarily.
Yeah.
I mean, just depends on the front gower versus the rear gower.
Yeah, so if the front gower is higher now on that 3.5 EcoBoost, I can see that. But that's the thing about, because your tongue weight is part of your payload number, because you can't, it has to come from somewhere. So I just
Those guys have been with us from the beginning.
Yeah, it's just sad that they don't call them Alcoa anymore. Everybody knows what Alcoa aluminum is.
I know.
They got some weird name that nobody can remember.
I know. I heard that for the first time a couple months ago, and I didn't even know. I didn't even realize.
Yeah, I think it's, of course, corporations do weird things, but you'd think you'd want brand recognition to be a big thing, and Ford would want brand recognition.
Yes.
Because they'll say, who's that other company? We don't know who they are.
Yeah, I had no idea.
We'll have to get a hold of the marketing guys over at Alcoa.
Yeah, we're screwing it up.
Yeah. So that's the Limited. There it is, the BO stereo system in this Limited. But so the Limited is really a limited series. So there's only so many made, and the VIN number's right there in the dash. I always thought the Platinum was higher, but it's not. Limited production tells you what number this is. This is number 6. Has the VIN number right there. That is so awesome. And this is a new color, Jerry. Blue. What color is it?
Navy Pier.
Baby Pier.
Navy.
Oh, Navy Pier. Wow, it is. It's cool. I hope you can see it on the camera. It is a cool blue. Blue and brown are my colors. This must be my truck. Okay, Jerry, we're taking out the next one with payload. This is the 3.5 EcoBoost. Model T got changed oil every 200 miles. Of course, that's what, and I know like what the, I think the like the rod bearings are made out of leather or something, aren't they? It's something like that. So you got a lot of maintenance on those old T's. They're cool to look at, but I know the wood spokes on those cost a fortune. Okay, I guess it better be. This is a 10-speed. That's cool. I've driven a 10-speed. Of course, this 10-speed I've driven. Yeah, I'm going to be interested to see what that 5-liter V8 does with the trailer. I don't know if I'm not going to find a hill. I don't know what I'm going to do. So 1,000-pound payload. This is the 3.5 EcoBoost. Twin turbo V6. Of course, 1,000 pounds is nothing for this.
Yeah.
3.5. So we've had the 2.7 and 3.5. We just haven't had the 5-liter with payload.
Yep.
You guys get all excited when you finally get to do a launch and see what you've been working on for years?
Yes, we do.
Because this is probably something that started 10 years ago or whatever you did development on the 10-speed.
Yeah, not quite 10 years ago, but it's a number of years. Yeah. We gotta try to do the demos for the stop and go.
Yeah. See, my car has that. I got a Ford Fusion. Hybrid has that.
So you're used to the stop
and the Raptor has that, but it's got a nice button you can shut it off.
Yeah,
and it's kind of annoying. I mean, I know it's saving fuel.
You're talking about start stop.
Oh, what was you talking about?
Yeah, the ACC with stop and go.
What's that ACC?
Cruise control.
So adaptive cruise control. I'm a big fan of that. So this is like that, but you can push on a brake and it won't shut off.
With adaptive cruise control, with the stop and go feature, you can set your distance with the cruise control. Set cruise control.
Right.
And it'll adjust your speed to the vehicle in front of you. If the vehicle in front of you comes to a complete stop, the vehicle will also stop.
Oh, okay. So that part is new, where it will stop. Before it would shut off at like 10 miles an hour, whatever it was. Okay.
Yes. So you don't have to hit the brakes anymore. You don't let the vehicle stop.
Well, that's new for this year.
New for this year.
It's called Stop and Go.
Yeah.
It's not
It'll-
start, stop. Well, that's confusing.
It is. I know. I have to clarify it. We didn't come
Yeah.
up with very good terminology there. So it'll stop. It'll stop for you if
Well,
it's
that's
under
cool.
3 seconds. So if it's a rush hour quick stop, it'll go by itself again and continue at that set distance. If it's more than 3 seconds, then you have to hit resume.
Okay.
And then it'll pick up again.
Okay, well, that's interesting. Yeah, that they were talking about the pedestrian thing, all the beepers, and that
Yeah.
that stops you too, right?
That
So-
will also stop you in
Yeah.
an emergency situation. Yeah.
Yeah, there's some of these vehicles, they're SUVs. I can't remember what brand they were, but you put a trailer on there, and you try to back up, and it starts stopping you. It's some kind of a weird thing. They doesn't understand what trailers are.
Oh.
And it may be some of those that didn't have brake controllers. And we pull my ATV trailer, which is under 3,000, so I don't have to have brakes on it. But you try backing up, and it'll do this jerk trying to stop you, thinking that you're running into something. It's a collision warning thing too, but that drives you nuts.
Oh, that's not right. Yeah.
No, no. And there's several SUVs that have that system on them.
Huh.
But yeah, pretty well. You're almost automatic driving cars now, anonymous, because of all that stuff. You know, all you're doing is steering it.
Yeah.
That's all there is to it.
Yeah, we're inching towards it.
Huh. So I guess that's the plan, getting us used to all this stuff, so when the car drives itself, we'll be all ready to go.
Yep, you'll be ready for
Huh.
it.
Interesting. Because that was always, always the adaptive cruise control is so cool. I think Ford's the only one that actually tells you can use it with the trailer. The other ones always told you not to use it with the trailer. And I've been always using it with the trailer, no matter what brand it was, because I thought that's how it works best.
Yeah.
'Cause you get on these interstates, and you just can't. People are always slowing down in front of you and pulling around you, and it's a pain in the butt with the trailer. If you got all that automatic system, you don't care. You just let the idiots drive in front of you and pull over. But yeah, that's quite the deal.
We specifically tune it and enable it for the trailer. I mean, that, like you said, that's exactly why you would want it.
Yeah, and that's where it
You're on
breaks
the long haul with the trailer, and that's where it gets tedious.
Exactly.
To have to be worrying about your speed, setting and unsetting.
And they have those systems for semis, so what's the big deal?
Exactly.
But on Ford, it actually runs the trailer brakes too. Well, you know all about that, or actually will brake the trailer. We did that when the Super Duty launched out in Broomfield. We did me and Andre at the Eisenhower Tunnel in the middle of the night with 30,000 pounds. And you can see the brake lights coming on the trailer without doing anything because of how that was working, adaptive cruise control, which was really cool. And then, is that same setup for the 150? Does it brake the trailer too?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. It's the normal, natural combination, however you set it up with the trailer.
Okay. That I hadn't, watched the tail lights, didn't do it at night, so I didn't know for sure, but that's good. Gotta remember that. Because I love adaptive cruise control. I remember when Jaguar and Lincoln came out with it, I did test drove a few cars back in the day, and that was awesome. But yes, look at all these barns. I noticed that Michigan. I've been in a lot of parts of Michigan. There's always some great barns out here.
It's a great country.
Yeah, the old corn is tall.
It's a fire.
Yeah, he's got firewood in their corn cribs.
Yeah,
What's up with that?
I used to do that all the time.
Because he probably didn't raise any corn.
Didn't raise any corn. No, it's a good way to store the firewood.
Oh, yeah. So do you have an elevator that shoots it up on top?
Yes,
Oh, wow.
we used to split it and drop it into the elevator and send it right over the top all at one time.
So this has that stop and go thing on it?
It does.
Okay.
Just no traffic.
Yeah. Well, if I stop with my brake though, or does that shut it off like they always are?
Yeah.
It shuts off. Okay, so it can't be where you brake it.
You need a car in front,
Okay, well that's good, because I would have thought that maybe they had it tied up so it doesn't shut off at the brake anymore. Because that's why you never use it towing a trailer in the mountains, because it would shut it off when you lost power on the old cruise control. But adaptive cruise control solves all those problems.
And that's why we set up the demo so it's more structured. We've got a vehicle in front, our own vehicle, so we don't have to try to hunt down the vehicle.
Yeah.
Done the Pro Trailer Backup Assist.
Yes, one of my trailers at home. I've still got the checker decals on. So Mike sent me one of those.
You don't need to demo that.
No, so whenever I get a truck with that on, I can go use it again. My trailer's set up for it.
Yeah.
See, that's just like all those things. I mean, with the knob, and I mean, if I was starting out and never pulled the trailer, I would appreciate all those things that help you.
Yeah.
But I've been pulling trailers for 42 years.
No, I know.
It just drives me nuts when the knob's going the opposite way. I'm used to going.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You should have seen all of our expert trailer tow folks try to use the TVA initially because they're the same as you.
Yeah.
They're going the other way.
Yeah. Yep. It's something else. I understand where it helps people, but I've been doing this for 15 years full time. Back in trailers, like I say, probably did trailers for 42 years. I just turned 60, and the journalists I'm with, a lot of them, when I first started working with them, I was the trailer guy, and so I would be driving trailers, and then all those guys all had to start doing that, and they started out being lousy, and 2 or 3 years later they were like experts. So I mean, all the guys I hang with now in this industry that are journalists are very good at backing up trailers, and I was very few of them still have CDLs, and I need to get that done. But yeah, it's all it takes is practice, and you can do anything.
And we got tons of pickup truck questions, right?
Right. Where do we go for the answers?
We go to the Truck Nuts book.
Because we're truck nuts. And we wrote the book, Truck Nuts. We're nuts about truck, the ultimate guide to buying a truck, or to looking at a truck, or judging a truck. Whether it's diesel versus gas, new versus used, what your teenagers should learn about trucks, all that. You do all kinds of cool tests.
Yeah, we do a lot of testing. We do the iGauntlet, world's toughest towing test, up the mountain and down the mountain. We do MPG testing on the highway, loaded with trailers.
Yeah.
We do off-road testing. A lot of that data is in this book as well, and it's a one-stop shop for truck information.
That's true. We test trucks, maximum capacity, up to the biggest grades you can do on the interstate.
Yep.
So we really put them to the test. And you can get all the facts you can't find anywhere else. We do MPG tests, which you can't find on any sticker anywhere. So, all that stuff that you can't find is in the book.
And you can find the book at trucknutsbook.com. There are links to Amazon, Barnes & Noble, and all the other bookstores as well.
So read about your truck nuts.